speak moron as well as you, but let me try.
What the hell is supposed to do, you moron?
It's a moron. That's not against the law.
Gun! You fucking moron!
Stuff like Batman.
Because he is Batman, you moron.
What are you, a fucking moron?
You moron. Drop dead. Moron.
Whoa!
Up here, you morons.
Stepping morons like yourself.
Me down, you moron! Hey, moron!
Mm-hmm. I think it's just because Hunter put in the change, and then I've just
went
with that. Like I didn't even think about it like that.
So see the one you watched.
You've now got yourself a free week back by cramming everything into one night. I'll probably need to watch it again because I'll fucking forget half of it.
Honestly, Sean, when you put that in the chat, I was absolutely howling because you're the one that would get most frustrated with watching something you didn't have to watch.
Honestly, I was sitting in the sauna, right, and I seen the message, and I looked at it, and I'm like, "What the fuck are they talking about? Green Mile?" And then it clicked, and then I was honestly, I was absolutely fuming because I knew that. But I got home from there at about quarter to 10 or something. I was like, I need to stick like this on, but I can't watch the full 3 hours in one go because I was shattered. I managed 2 hours there, went to my bed, and then I watched a bit of my lunch today, and then I finished the last half hour from 6:30 till 7.
Yeah. Well done, Sean, because the Sean of the past would have just chucked his toys at the time and said, I'm not doing that. So well done.
To be fair, I was trying to help you, and I said we could have just recorded one film tonight and then done another one like next week. But
I know, but I couldn't be bothered doing it next week. So
he was committed, Sean. We do thank you for that.
I'm also just thankful that he's not watched the film that I changed. That would have done that.
That
would have been even worse.
Sean, was it not you as well that watched the wrong Wreck-It Ralph?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was only I got halfway through that, and then I realised that it was the wrong one, so then I picked the real one. But Wreck-It Ralph 2 was better.
But at least for this one, he's actually going to have to. This film that he's watched is going to be reviewed. The other Wreck-It Ralph, we're not going to have a watch.
Well, if I know Sean could put that in as a scene at some point in the future. It would count as a scene and an unseen, wouldn't it?
It is funny that because like I looked at these two and I was like, oh, I'll have to watch these over the next 2 weeks. Or when am I going to fit this in? Like I don't know. I'm so busy. I don't know when I'm going to fit all this in. I've watched both of them, and this week alone, in the last 5 or 6 days, I've watched all 4 of the Matrix movies.
I mean,
what a life.
For no reason whatsoever.
What?
After the first one, that's just torture, is it, no?
Well,
do you find that enjoyable?
Do you know what it is? It's the itch in the inside of my brain that goes, Kyle, there's 4 movies. You've watched one, you have to watch all 4. You can't just stop at one. And then I can't watch anything else.
That's like me watching a Hull City game on a Friday night and then going, right, Sean, there's 41 other Hull City games. You're going to need to watch them all. Buy that season ticket. No, there's absolutely no point in that. But I know that the one that I watched was okay. It finished 3-2, and it was a fairly enjoyable game. But then the rest of them are going to be dog shit. Hull City v Wigan.
I tell you what, see if it was on demand and it was there was a 42 games in a row, I'd probably sit and watch them all.
But I suppose you could take a subscription to Hull TV, and you might not be able to watch them live, but you might be able to get all the other 41 games at least on that.
Listen, I just think it plays into my specialness, like the
catch up. What are you doing this weekend, Sean? Well, I'm going to wait till 7:30 tonight so I can get the Hull City game and catch up. I'm going to avoid the result.
I mean, that's not cheap for people in Humberside. Is it Humberside? Is that what Hull is?
Yes.
I've made that up. Thanks.
With their broadband, they've got their own special network.
You to Burnsy.
You're meaning there? I don't know what you mean. Hello, people listening from Hull.
Wonder if we've got any listeners for Hull.
I hope no.
It's like a dump. I've never been to Hull, but it sounds like a dump.
Well, not if any listeners anymore after that comment.
No. I can also clarify that it is a dump. I spent a couple of weeks in there. It is a dump. But we're not here to talk about
Hull.
It was when I used to sell kitchens. That was where the training facility was. Hull. 4 weeks in total, I think it was.
Oh God!
So you've been 4 weeks training to sell kitchens.
Aye.
Do you want this kitchen? Aye. What has it got? A sink,
I want this one at the booklet. All right, I'll need to go through my 4 weeks of training to be able to give you that for you, please.
The best it is, I didn't even sell the kitchens. I was the manager of the salespeople. I literally didn't have anything to do with designing kitchens or selling the kitchens. It was time well spent.
It does sound it.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about my shitty career path. We are going to talk about the Man from U.N.C.L.E. In the early 1960s, CIA agent Solo and a KGB operative, Jesus, I can't even read, participate in a joint mission against a mysterious criminal organization which is working with nuclear weapons. Directed by Guy Ritchie. Hunter, I believe this was a choice from yourself.
It was indeed, yes.
Take it away.
Right, so obviously we have a new format for this series, which was obviously we know we're picking film that we've seen and a film that we have unseen. Now, for my scene, I had a few choices. I can't remember what they were, but for some reason, I plucked this one out because I was like, I'm pretty sure I enjoyed that the last time. It would be good to put it on, and this is not the film I remembered it as being.
I love that.
I think I've had a list of a few, and I think I've managed to get a couple of them mixed up, but then just thought, that's the one I thought it was. I mean, for a guy, there are some aspects of it that are good. It's just, I think, sometimes how good a director may be or an acting performance may be. You see, sometimes if you're not invested in the subject matter, I feel like it can just drag on and drag on. I feel like that's what happened with this. I mean, there were some slight comical moments between some of the exchanges between Henry Cavill's character and Armie Hammer's character. But I think on the end of this second viewing, I think underwhelming would just be like a bit of an understatement for how I felt after this. I didn't feel, if anything, my life felt more unfulfilled after watching it. Like I had lost part of my life that I would never be able to claim back again, and it should have just been left as a film that I believed I enjoyed.
Wow. Wait, when I saw this on the list, I was halfway through it and I went and looked. I was like, no, this is the one that Hunter's already seen. And I was like, what the fuck's he picked this pile of shit for? It was so, I thought it was awful, by the way. Just no my thing.
It feels like there's so many other movies of this type that are so much better than what this is. And to have some big name actors and a big name director try to dabble into that, it just fell flat on its arse.
Mm-hmm.
What I don't get is it a comedy? Is it an action movie? Is it a romance movie? It's none of these, but I feel like it kind of wants to be all of them. And some of the comedy was like totally slapstick. Like it just inserted from nowhere. Like when Henry Cavill's sitting in the van and the guy who's going about in this, Armie Hammer's going about in the speedboat in the background and everything's on fire and all that. It just was so weird. Like the way the comedy just got sort of chucked in. And I did not care nor have a clue what the fuck was going on with all those other people. Like the posh woman and the race car driver and the dad and all that. Just couldn't care that.
There was definitely too many cooks in this that like fucking spoiling everything. That was it. There was too much going on all at once, and I think it got to the point where they then took away for the story and film as a whole. You're just like, how is it wasting time? I mean, you've got somebody like Hugh Grant coming in like for basically 2 minutes at the midpoint, and then like the last 5 minutes at the end, and he's like the mastermind of it all essentially.
It was just twist on top of twist for no reason. I thought a lot of it.
Reading a little bit of the trivia, and I'll come to more of it a bit later on, but I think this is relevant just now. It says here that one of the reasons that the film stayed in the 60s time period was to allow the Man from U.N.C.L.E. to have its own world, its own reality, and its own tone, setting it apart from the other spy thrillers that it links to, like the Bourne franchise.
Oh.
Was
So
it
that's
not an
the
anime show?
You
I
see
was
that
actually gonna say
description
that I
there?
got
That is the big. That description there is the beginning and the end of it is linked to the Bourne franchise. I would rather watch all the Bourne films many times over than watch this again.
I was going to say that I actually had a bit Bond vibes for me when I was watching it, but I'm the opposite. I quite enjoyed this. I thought us were going to come on and say we quite liked it, but obviously I was under the impression that Hunter knew what film he was picking for us that too. So I thought I was going to have at least one person that was going to say there would be. But I thought the two may. For me, it's like I think because I don't like action films that are just or a film that's too concentrated on one aspect. I liked how it was sort of there was like various parts. There was a bit of action, a bit of like them obviously trying to find the bomb. There was a bit of romance. There was a bit of everything for me. So I was quite happy. And I thought from like the start when they had like the original chase and whatever, and then obviously the meet for the first time. I thought that fitted in quite perfectly, and so did the mannerisms of Henry Cavill and Hammer too. Like I thought when Gabby obviously there's like the twist. There's a twist where she like froze him in. I didn't see that coming. You probably did because it seemed a bit too straightforward for everyone to just go swimmingly. But looking back, it's like, why would you just believe these two random guys and take everything that they said at face value and just go along with it and let them take you away? And even if you're worried about your dad, then you'd think you'd want a bit more evidence than just believing these two random folk that have just turned up at the Blue. Or one guy that's turned up at the Blue and his pal.
No way. So you would listen to him. They're good looking. You'd go with them. I'd go with them.
She's good looking too, though. I'd listen to her.
You should get yourself watching some Tomb Raider then, Burnsy. You'll love it.
I'm very surprised, though, that everyone else...
Do you know what? See that? You mentioned the chase at the start. So like that, obviously the car chase. And what I thought was quite cool to start with, and this is probably where it like got the best for me and it lost me after that, is it reminded me a bit like Universal Soldier, where it was programmed into him. He knew exactly what he was doing, where he was going, right down to the degrees of how to get in this window, what streets he was going down. And I was like, all right, okay, this guy's like a really top end spy, like Bourne vibes and stuff. And then after that, they just seemed to go away from that. And he was just kind of winging it. He was just a thief that they then trained up to be a spy. And I was just a bit like, oh, I wish he went in the other direction a lot more.
I thought they kind of explained that though, because that was obviously his original job was just to get the girl and like capture her. So like he obviously wasn't at that point. He didn't know what his mission was, if that makes sense.
I'm just meaning about how calculated it was and how precise it was, and to the point where he got the car stuck and climbed through the window and knew exactly where he was. And I just feel like after that, it became quite a boring back and forward movie after that.
I'm kind of
when you go, Sean.
Sorry, I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. Like I didn't hate it. Like I think Daniel used the word hate or totally shite, whatever. But like I wasn't really into it as much as what Burnsy seems like he was. I feel like I've seen this film. I've never seen this film, but I've seen this film before, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's spy type with like some attempt at humour and things like that. It just lost me halfway, not even halfway through, probably 45 minutes in or whatever. It was after the mugging scene where he was there with his wife, where she was just told to play the Russian guy's wife? Not his wife, but she was told to play his wife. And then these muggers come out of nowhere, and I thought this was going to be linked to actually like part of the bit. It was just a random kind of mugging. I just didn't really understand. Like, see all these films that are like Russian spies and all this shit. Like it does get a bit tedious. Obviously, I've never seen it before. I was a bit like, I thought it would have been passable because I quite like quite a lot of Guy Ritchie's films. Like, it's got a certain vibe about it. But this just felt like a film that was trying to be like a Guy Ritchie film, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't feel like authentic or that. Like I did kind of find myself thinking like this must get good at some point because Hunter enjoyed it. It's not like it's like a Kyle pick and we know that Kyle likes some questionable films. But I mean, we talk about Hunter's track record sometimes. I'm sorry, Scott, but
I'm willing to accept it on this one.
Another one that's going to get added to the list, whether it kind of Burnsy liked it or whatever. It's just going to. This is going to be used to beat you again at some point in the future, along with. Was it Dark Crimes? Was that the other one?
Dark Crimes, that
Capone.
fucking
Capone.
song, why?
Fear and Loathing.
Right.
Oh,
Do you know what I think it is? I think on my list, I think The Gentleman was on there as well, and I've got these two films mixed up. I've just seen.
Aye, The Gentleman's good. I like The
Yeah.
Gentleman. I've seen that before.
Which is one that I've never seen, thinking it's going to come up for Movie Club, and I keep putting it off. But I've seen all the clips for it on social media, and it looks really good. So I'm actually even more pissed off now that you made us watch A Man From U.N.C.L.E. instead.
And I've definitely picked the wrong Guy Ritchie film.
I just feel like this is an attempt for them to have a franchise about a spy, in line with all the other franchises we've got about spies, and it's just so far away from being one that you would go back to watching. So like, having 4, 5, 6 of these movies would be absolute disastrous, and they would have it all recast after the second one because of how badly it would do.
Do you know what I think as well? Obviously, because this is, I think it's based on a TV series from that, and I think the fact that like no one, I would say that most people have never even heard of the TV series. Like, see that they sort of like proper, like legendary 70s and 80s TV shows or whatever that we've at least heard of them being referenced. I've never heard anyone reference the TV series for that this is based on. So I maybe should have used that as a yardstick when thinking about it in hindsight.
Just to add there, Dan, before you jump in, is it's based on the TV series, but the actual character's based as a side character from James Bond novels.
Oh. I mean, James Bond's also shit.
It's not important enough to be in a James Bond movie, so they made their own one for it.
That's kind of what it feels like. It feels like a spin-off James Bond TV series. And when you mentioned it being a TV show, I didn't know that. I just thought it was an old movie. But this feels like the first episode of a shit TV show instead of a movie. I know we talk about the length of films quite a lot, and on the next episode, that'll be a topic, I think. But there's so much in it. It's only 90 minutes long. It doesn't feel like, it feels like maybe a straight to DVD movie at best, but it's got quite a high-end cast. Just to clarify my earlier shite comments about how shite it is, I'm not the target demographic for this anyway. Like, see spy films with car chases and gadgets and shit. It's just no for me unless it's exceptional. Like, it's something like this has got to be excellent for me to think it's any good. And this was just like paint by numbers plan. Where was Henry Cavill was supposed to be the American in this, right?
Mm-hmm.
What, he didn't sound American.
Is he not like to be British?
No, he's American.
No, he's American.
He's calling him cowboy and all that. Like, he's he's the least American that's ever been in a film. Like,
well,
and then accent.
The British guy.
So you've got, is Henry Cavill actually British?
Aye.
Yeah.
So you've got a British guy playing an American playing a Russian, and I don't know what nationality the other two actresses were. So there's nobody actually being true to form here.
So to make it even more complicated, originally cast was Henry Cavill was cast to be the Russian, and Tom Cruise was cast to be Solo.
Fuck me.
And then Tom Cruise had to drop out for a Mission Impossible, and then they just moved Henry Cavill over after George Clooney dropped out because he got it after Tom Cruise.
So fuck's sake.
And when you look at the list of people that were considered for the role, essentially they've typed into Google hot men from Hollywood, and it's any good-looking guy from Hollywood was considered to be this role.
I love how you said Tom Cruise had to pull out for a Mission Impossible. You didn't mention a movie. He just had to go and do a Mission Impossible in my mind. Like,
and he probably was. The Impossible mission was fucking making this movie good. That's why he dropped out.
Oh.
Making this movie good, an impossible mission. There's a name.
Well, I know we'll come back to it in a second, but I was laughing at some of the trivia because the trivia is all themed around basically how good looking Henry Cavill is. And it says here that he admitted that he was relieved to not have a shirtless scene in this movie because he's glad to focus on his performance, not his physique for once. So what a hard life that man's got, eh?
Did they not basically spend like half of that TV series he done for Netflix walking about with his top off anyway?
Aye, and he's fucking Superman. Get over it. Get your top off and get your abs out for the boys.
Oh, that's what I do, guys. That's why I keep my top on all the time. I didn't want to put the effort in like him. So we're
Didn't want it to
essentially
be
the
too
same
easy to
person.
get your top off for the boys all the time. That's what it is.
We're essentially the same people. We're hairy men that don't know how to take our tops off.
And geeks. He's famously a big geek, Henry Cavill, isn't he?
Is he not doing, is it Warhammer or Dungeons
Aye.
and Dragons or something like that?
I think it's
sure I've seen
Warhammer.
that before.
I'm sure he done like a video though. I remember my sister was telling me about it. He basically like built like his own like computer up from scratch. I don't know if it was a TikTok or a YouTube or something. So he kind of went proper geek the other way as well. Like
I've
basically
seen that
taking all the
video as
geek
well.
boxes.
That reminds me of a story from my youth, actually. So one of my, let's call it a business venture, one of my early business ventures as a teenager, I was maybe 14 or 15. And everyone, loads of folk got into Warhammer at this one time. Like there was loads of folk that were into it. And there was a games workshop in Falkirk.
I remember
So
that.
remember that?
Yeah.
So me and my mate, who will go unnamed, would go up to see our other mates who were into the Games Workshop shit, right? We'd go in and say hiya. They were all there playing their games. And I was amazed by how expensive this shit was. And I was also amazed by the lack of security in a shop made by geeks who just like to play the games. So we used to go and just take the stuff and sell it for half the price at school. Till the fucking geeks made loads of money.
I love how you've targeted that as a business venture that you used to go around stealing.
Yeah,
Shoplifting,
basically a
basically.
thief. Aye.
My stealing phase in my teenage years.
I used to do the same. There used to be a shop in Alva we used to go to at lunchtime called the Bottle Shop. So basically, we used to you just pile in all at lunchtime, and basically the person in front of your school bag would be open and you went in. We used to just take drink off the shelf and put it in and just sell it. Basically steal everyone's came out for the weekend and sell it to them.
Well, we went in one week and they were all talking like, "Oh, stuff's been going missing. Like, we need to keep an eye out, right?" So, and we are involved in the conversation, going, "Aye, we need to keep an eye out." Right? And then, so do you know what happens quite a lot with Games Workshop? I think is that normal people walk in, not knowing what it is, then they quickly realise what it is, turn around and walk straight back out. Right? So that happened. This wee group of Neds walked in. We're like, "Oh shit, this is fucking geeky and smells of BO. Let's get out of here." They left. And so I just went to the guy. I was like, "Here, I think they took something. Like that must be the folk that have been stealing stuff and that." So they took the only two folk that worked there chased them, leaving the shop completely unguarded as I filled my bag and left.
Oh,
Don't steal stuff, kids.
No.
I really hope kids aren't listening to us in the podcast.
No. Let's change the subject. What did Arnie Hammer actually do in real life? Is he not a bad bastard? Has he not been cancelled for something?
Oh, aye, he's like lost his family's fortune. He was an heir to that. Was he not into like some sort of bestiality, cannibalism type thing, or
What?
Jesus Christ. I thought you were going to say he was into like a crypto scam or something there.
no, no? He's basically now selling like condos in like some mad island in the Caribbean or something. Timeshares. That's what it was.
I thought you were going to say condoms. I thought he was selling condoms.
He was stealing them and selling them for half the price.
Oh, selling used condoms could be a name as well.
Selling used condoms. He sells timeshares in the Cayman Islands. Yeah, there was a whole domestic abuse thing with him during a long-term relationship.
So he's a bad man.
He's an absolute arsehole, yeah. There's actually I typed in Arnie Hammer into Google and it came up the downfall of Arnie Hammer. I was like, oh, okay.
This seems quite a regular theme in our podcast that one of the actors has always been up to, or well, I was going to say actresses, but it's always actors that are up to some dodgy stuff.
We've got it again next week as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that'll be a controversial one talking about that one.
Yeah. I've been doing my research in preparation.
There's a fair few TikTok conspiracy theories out there about Tom Hanks.
Well, we only want to deal in facts, please.
that him and Hudson Odoi shared a plane.
Yeah.
Hudson Odoi.
Well,
they've both been to Epstein's sex island. Let's just leave it at that.
it doesn't seem like we've got too much to say about this movie, but I'm just gonna. There's one little question I'm gonna ask about a bit of trivia I'm seeing there, and I never clocked it at all. So I want to see if you guys did. There was a famous person that had a cameo as the projectionist at the start of the movie.
Oh, I noticed it at the time because I thought, oh, they're going to be in this movie, and then they weren't. Nah, I can't remember.
I know who it was, but I'm not going to say because I read it as well.
Well, nobody else knows, Sean. So
No, Sean, you've got to shoot in for 5 points here.
Was it David Beckham?
It was.
So weird.
Yeah.
Why?
I didn't actually notice it at the time, but I read about it afterwards.
Was he knowing a couple of Guy Ritchie films? Was he knowing like that King Arthur one as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was quite shocked by that because I didn't ever remember even seeing the projectionist at the start. So, but
Aye, that's not what I was thinking. I've definitely missed that. That's not what I was thinking.
There you go. It's nice to see that for guys that review movies, we give this full attention to, and not one of us clocked that the most famous and beautiful man ever is on the screen.
The most beautiful man ever. Jesus Christ.
He's not even in the top 100.
He's not even the most beautiful footballer ever in the top 100 either.
Who's the most beautiful footballer ever?
Declan Rice, according to Sean.
Matt O'Reilly.
Oh, he's a handsome man.
Is
The vast majority of people listening to this wouldn't even ken who that is.
It's going to be Big G though, does it know?
Probably should have.
Luke
followed by Matt O'Reilly.
Do you know who's strikingly handsome? Bafatimbi Gomez. Mind him, played for Swansea.
The guy that done like the crawl celebration.
Aye, that's what I was going to say, is the one that crawled.
Like a panther. He's got some sexy modelling shots. I'll put them in the group chat after this.
I'm not even going to ask how you came across these. Was it on your screen?
So, do you know how I came across it? Was because he was linked to Chelsea years ago, right? So I googled him at the time, and these images came up. I was like, "Oh, look at this guy!" I'll send you them in the chat so you know what I'm talking about.
Nice. Hunter, did I hear you slide in a Luke Chadwick there earlier?
Yes.
Well, that's went unnoticed in there. Well, Daniel, I did message you during the week with a question that we should probably ask in here, and because we've not really got much to say about this movie, and we were trying to get this over 30 minutes, I think that we should put the question out to the boys.
I've got another for sexy footballers that I'm about to put in the chat. Sorry, I just knew.
Well, listen, if we're going to stay in the sexy footballers chat, I'm all for it.
This is a better. I love this photo.
You're just going to have these awkward silences while we talk about sexy footballers.
I thought there was a question coming. That's what was waiting on the question.
So was that.
Firstly, for the listening, it was a picture of Neil Lennon leaning against a bar. Is it a bar chair?
With her buttons up, a few buttons undone as well.
And he's doing the classic sort of boy band looking into the distance instead of looking at the camera pose.
For those who don't know who Neil Lennon is, he is their greatest ever manager and footballer.
Do you think his cufflinks are big enough?
Do you think what?
The cufflinks of the shirt are big enough, Dave. They're huge.
The cuffs are absolutely massive. He's not even around his shirt.
No.
Because he's ready to just take it right off of you, Sean. That's why.
Anyway,
let's get me that took that photo.
Let's get on to the question that was out there. I sent Daniel a message as something to remind him, but it seems like he's forgot it anyway.
Yes, I did.
So the question was, what would be your favourite movie to watch with a hangover?
Oh.
So the reason I seen this on Twitter from a podcast, and they came up with like the first one that came up there that they said was Disney movies or movies where you don't really have to pay attention to, and it just got me thinking about if I'm lying there hanging out my arse, what type of movie would I watch and what specifics would I watch? And the best one that I could come up with, and I think I would pick it, would be The Goonies. Something light-hearted, easy to watch, not too many colours and brightness all over the screen as well to piss me off like a Disney movie would. But The Goonies, I think, would be the perfect one for me.
I think it's definitely got to be something comforting, like so. Probably something for your childhood is pretty accurate. So the Goonies, I never liked the Goonies. In fact, we've got Stand By Me coming up soon. That was a bit of a comfort movie for me. I would watch that when I was hungover. That would be good. Or The Land Before Time. Does anyone remember that?
Oh, but you'd cry.
Is that
I
the
know,
one with the big
sometimes.
massive? That's a never-ending story.
Yeah, that's still going.
Land Before Time was class.
Land Before Time's brilliant. That's like top end shit.
If I,
When you go.
if I was to pick a second movie, it would be the Power Rangers movie with Ivan Ooze.
I might have seen that at the cinema.
It's fucking awesome.
I love the Power Rangers. There's a picture of me that my sister shares like at least once a year on our Facebook of me dressed as a Power Ranger. I think I was the blue one from memory.
You're 33 as well when you done that. Any thoughts, guys, from other movies that you would watch?
I can't think of many from my childhood or that I would go back and watch as a fully grown adult male whilst hungover. Suppose if I had to pick something, possibly. See, it's kind of like there's a film that I'll enjoy, but I know it would be maybe not enjoyed by most. Is Spike Island. It's a film about. You get to see Amelia Clark's Beast in it, so that's not too bad.
Say that again?
You get to see Amelia Clark's Beasts in it, so it's not too bad.
That's
What?
Her what? Say it again for Sean for the third time.
Beasts.
To translate, he means tits.
Oh, right. I thought you said bush or something.
No. No. So it's just about a group of young scallywags going to watch the Stone Roses at Spike Island in 1990. And I think it's like a wee sort of wee comforting movie. I find it's a film I enjoy, but I know it's not great, but I enjoy it.
Sounds
Don't
awful.
worry, I won't subject you to it whenever it.
Sean, do you have any thoughts? Not about Amelia Clark's
The only
tits.
time I watched films is for this, but if I had to, for my childhood, it would be Superman 3.
Fucking hell.
And from my adulthood, I would probably stick on something like The Wolf of Wall Street. So I'm dead boring answer. But, I don't watch films when I'm hungover. Like I don't think, oh, this film's going to fucking sort me right out.
It's because you're 14 matches into Hull's 2022 season.
a lot of catching up to do.
Burnsy, as you never watched movies, you had to sit and watch The Wall as a child. Is there any particular one that you would go for?
The only one I probably watched quite a few times when I was younger was I watched Billy Madison a few times. Not when I was hungover. This is before I was getting hangovers. Remember me and Dubs watched Mike Bass England Manager once when we were both hungover. Round at his house.
I watched Mike Bass England Manager recently. I did not know that there's sequels to it.
Oh, in fact, you mentioned that. Sorry, I think you mentioned this on one of our podcasts actually.
I definitely like more adult films. It would be something comedy like that, like something that's again like that. It's never the greatest, but it's still enjoyable no matter how many. I think obviously because we're not watching it like all the time you're hungover. Most of my hungover Sundays are spent watching fucking Leeds versus Brentford at 2 o'clock. No draws.
Well, guys, I think we've stretched the arse out of this one as much as we can. There's not really much to say about the Man from U.N.C.L.E. I do think we should have a discussion offline about Hunter's selection of movies. Maybe we should get Hunter gives us 10 and we pick out of those ones that we're going to watch.
I'll let you pick. I'll let him put them to a group vote for the next time. I'll let him pick one.
We need to start policing these picks a little bit. The irony of me saying that.
I was going to say, Kyle, like that's fucking pot kettle black here. Is it now your uniform to wear that fucking Sidemen hoodie every time you're on here?
Do you know what it is? It's because I'm cheap and I don't know how to put the heating on. It's when you came on the call earlier, I was sitting with my hood up as well, like this.
Wow, you looked like a fucking creepy man for uncle there, or the creepy uncle.
Pedophile.
Well, on that note, as Morons bid you farewell.
No,
I'm
we're
not
not
gonna
giving
score it
it
now.
You know what? Score it, you dick.
Just wanting rid of yous. Fucking sick of
Actually, see, when you started talking there, Kells, I actually thought, was like, have we scored this already? And I had a bit of doubt, but then I wasn't sure if you had genuinely forgot or not.
Well, we give it 4 zeros and Burnsy's 3.5.
No, we'll score it.
Well, you've got my score right, so I'll give you a clue. that was what I was giving it.
Oh, fuck me. Well, guys, I can openly say that I did forget that we had to score movies as well. Burnsy, 3.5. Hunter, you selected this. You obviously enjoyed it because it was a scene movie. What are you going for?
Right. The only downfall greater than Armie Hammer's career is the downfall in my scoring here down to a 1.
It's so funny because we had the discussion about selecting movies that we knew that we liked, and then a risky one that we've not seen that might have a bit of controversy. And Hunter's kicked off this new season with a 1 of selection.
A 1 for a film that he picked.
I think sometimes it's good to pick something like you don't necessarily. I'm not picking films for your approval. I'm picking films for content. That's what it is. And this is in hindsight because in my mind beforehand I thought I enjoyed this, but clearly not.
Bullshit.
Sean, what would you give this?
A 1.75.
It's a lot more than I thought you would give it. Daniel?
Yeah, I'm going 1 below Sean and a 0.75.
0.75, and I'm going to join Hunter with the 1. I'd say that the car chase at the start was decent, and Lara Croft was good to look at the whole movie. Our resident accountant, have you worked out the scoring?
Yeah, that's a 1.6.
1.6. What a way to kick off the movies that you've seen.
At least it's not the lowest yet, so there is some strength to take away from this.
This is the lowest of this season now, Hunter, and I didn't see it going up above anybody for the next 10 films that we record.
Look at his face.
You've broken him.
Sorry, I was distracted by Wout Weghorst's start of 2 goals in 22 league games.
Aye, but he gets 5 interceptions a game. Come on, man, that wins games.
The highest press in the Premier League.
Yes.
He no better doing it with the ball at his feet, but he can run a bit.
Fucking depressed when watching him. Well, that does bring us to the end finally. This time I'll cut that bit early and I'll put it in here now so it doesn't sound like I fucked up. But as Morons bid you farewell.
Happy New Year.
See, as soon as you said that, I checked the date. I was like, fucking hell.
You could at least change it to Happy Lunar New Year.
Aye. Happy Chinese New Year.
I only know that this shit's relevant and like Lunar New Year's not happened because they put things in FIFA for them.
Well,
if it wasn't there, I'd have no idea.
This is my year. This is the one of my birth. It's a bunny rabbit. That's what mine is. Everyone else in my year at school was a tiger, but I was born a year after, and I was a fucking bunny rabbit.
So what does that mean for you?
It means that I'm timid and cute and fluffy with big
It
ears.
means fuck all. Just as that I'm a Sagittarius, and that does not define me as a person.
That's exactly what a Sagittarius would say.
I know. So my horoscope said this week.
Oh, that's so Sagittarian of you, Sean.
I know.
Sorry I don't speak moron as well as you, but let me try.
What the hell is supposed to do, you moron?
It's a moron. That's not against the law.
God, you fucking moron.
Dressed up like Batman.
Because he is Batman, you moron.
What are you, a fucking moron?
You moron. Drop dead. Moron.
Whoa!
Up here, you morons.
Stepping morons like yourself.
Me down, you moron. Hey, moron.
Bid you farewell and good luck, morons. Bye.